California in the spring. Dude, what are you talking about?
Hello, hello. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay.
I hope so. I
Hopefully.
hope they can hear us because I can't see them.
I love how you said you were getting your phone to see the chat when I have the chat right here and right here, but it's you
Yeah,
have
I'm not
to
gonna be able to see that.
you have to put it right there.
Hello, Casey. Yeah, this is what we're working with here.
So, uh in case anyone didn't remember this or didn't know this, but Mr. Beat had eye surgery, so he's slightly blind at the moment. Um and so that's why his phone is right here. And why he's wearing sunglasses inside at
Yes.
night.
Yeah, the stream setup is a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Let's just keep those on.
And I tried to I tried to make it less bad, but so it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, yeah. It's usually surface of the sun levels in here. Might need to wear sunglasses while sitting over there. Um,
Yeah,
oh,
this might be technically a Mr. Beat face reveal because
for some of,
for
yeah.
some people have already seen him because he used to stream on Twitch.
Right, right. Well,
So the
it's
cool people have already seen him, but some of you slackers were not there in those days, so
well, if you can stomach niche strategy games, then yeah, I stream
the
them.
OGs know. No, I guess I'm not cool.
Oh, I'm certainly not cool, so that's okay. Don't let the sunglasses fool you.
Yes, Sleuthy, you have met him. I'm trying to think, is who all have you met? You've met Sleuthy.
Yep. Um,
You met Charity.
right?
He's extra cool. He's met Charity.
And I've met
Um,
Hotchkiss and
Ricky.
um, Ricky. Yep. And I really think that's all.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Um, yep. I think that's it.
So basically, you've met most of the people I've met.
Yeah, most of them. Not all of them.
So anyway, um, Mr. Beat is a nerd, and so I have brought my personal nerd friend, um, so we can discuss some things that hurt the brain and maybe make some sense of some stuff and answer some questions that a lot of us have probably had before. And so this is just going to be like super casual and laid back in case it wasn't already obvious. And we because basically I think this is going to be my last stream before the new year. And so I didn't want to like start a game today and not be able to finish it and all that kind of stuff. So we're just doing something more casual. And yeah, we're going to talk about technology in the Nancy Drew games. And so feel free to drop questions or specific examples in the chat. We have a few that we already have on a list or that we've even talked about a little bit that we will talk about. And if you have like specific questions, feel free to drop those and we will see what we can do. We have our cat. Say hello to our child. She is chaotic. Oh, I need to fix. So I don't know why my chat keeps doing this. I keep having this issue where it just will not refresh until I close it out and bring it back up. Tell your cat I love her. Dookie, Maggie loves you. For some reason.
I got the joke too, Maggie. There was just no good time to interrupt. That I'm actually in the friend zone.
Oh, I see. I missed that message because it was over here and it hadn't loaded on my phone.
Ah.
Well, time to find out you're actually in the friend zone. I mean, you are in the friend zone. You're just also in the romance zone.
Yeah,
You're in both.
I'm in both. That's what being married is all
Multi-dimensional zone experience.
about. Yes.
Anyway, Nyx walked by and said, "Hey, twin." Oh yeah, Nyx has more like almost orangey kind of eyes, right? I seem to remember Nyx looking very much like a Halloween cat when I've seen pictures. All the cat love in the chat. So, what do you say? Should we start with the big question that we've talked about a little bit with the sets?
Sure.
Start with that one?
We'll start with that one.
Okay. They're yellow. I feel like they looked orange in pictures. Maybe I'm just tripping. Okay. So, we're gonna try to puzzle out these darn... Are you licking my arm?
Probably. She's licking my hand.
Weirdo. We're gonna try to look at these sets in Labyrinth of Lies and see what we can figure out here. So, now that we're at a computer, because we talked about this a little bit when we didn't have a computer in front of us.
It's the only way I can see.
Why do you have to lean to the side to see?
I think these sunglasses, I don't know, they're polarized or something, but... Yep. I can only see
Well, now the
straight
screen's
on
black
angles.
and fuzzy.
It is quite black and fuzzy.
You're on my hair.
Sorry,
Fling that out of the way.
I couldn't see.
Suki, scoot. We're off to a good start here.
We got the amphitheater.
Scoot.
See, there's... So, assuming there are two circles here to scale, there is...
Okay, so I should be explaining. Okay, hold on. Also...
Never assume to scale, kids. First rule of engineering school.
Hold on, I'm gonna bring it up for chat here so everyone else can see it too. Okay, so hopefully you guys should be able to see this as well. So this is what we're looking at right now. So, and obviously there's going to be probably some sort of degree of spoilers for Labyrinth of Lies as we're talking about this. Just because, yeah, there's going to be spoilers. Let's just go ahead and say there's going to be spoilers because there's going to be things related to the sets that have to do with what the culprit situation is / what the culprit is trying to do and all of that. So you have been warned. There will be discussions of some of that. Dookie, we do not need your booty in the air. Please chill. So this is the blueprint for all of this. So here at the bottom, this is all the seating. And so, and then at the, like in the middle, there's this circle, which for a second I questioned what the circle was, but I looked at the pictures and trying to see. So this is actually like a tiled, zoom in more for you. The circular part, this is like a tiled circular flat area that's in front of the stage.
Ah, okay.
So this part here, where it's curving, this is the front of the stage. And then there's this big open flat area before the stadium seating starts.
I see.
So let me see if I can. So you can see in this picture what I'm talking about. So down here at the bottom, this checkered area. This is really fun that we're using things that involve seeing.
Right.
When you can't see. Um,
I see people, but they look like trees walking.
honey, there's no people.
Now, some people get the reference. Carry on.
So here's the seating, and then at the bottom, the flat part, there's that circular area, and then the stage.
Okay.
So you kind of see how that's translated to 3D.
Right.
Okay. So that's that part. And then Tori says I got the reference.
Good.
I did not get the reference. I'm giving you a hard time. So then this is the underground area where the sets are. So remember how I was talking about how it's like a circle
Right.
they seem to move on? So there's this circular axis, and then the one set where it's currently sitting, it butts up against the wall where there's access to this workshop that leads off to the museum. So that's what that is, which is not really relevant to us right at this moment, but they will be. So this ring, the outer ring, is the exterior wall of this chamber, basically. And then they're inside of that, the sets are. And then if you can see, can you see this area, like a little rectangle there?
Yeah.
So they're each connected by a walkway. And we'll pull the game up so you can see that. But each set has a catwalk connecting between it. So we will look at that. So they're all like connected, but it seems like there could be a separation there. Dory said we're all connected to each other in a circle in a hoop that never ends. Colors of the Wind reference from Pocahontas. So that's that. And then the very last room leads off to this balcony where you can see that there's a road going through here. So somewhere on here that's not visible, there's an exterior outlet where it would lead out to the road. Other thing that's relevant here, and I think we talked about this, how there's the lift that goes straight down.
Right.
So, and I don't really know what that is. That's just whatever. So this is that lift. So it looks like the lift was supposed to be off to the side more. And for whatever reason, they end up moving it to like front and center, I assume. Well, okay, I say that. Maybe that's not the lift. Maybe this must be the lift. Because that's where the lift is actually located. And this is like that back room. I guess. I don't know, but I think it's a fair assumption that we should kind of ignore that lift's location and that it should be off from the stage, like next to it, but it has to be there because of the plot.
Okay.
So I'm not going to worry about that as much. So that's all of that information. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Casey. I think that this part has to be off the side of the stage where Gregor is. So now I'm thinking I'm thinking let's pull the game up. I'll pause our wintry music because we're gonna have music from the game. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, I'm just gonna load this save. Okay, so here is that view that I showed you the still picture of where there's the
Right?
round thing at the bottom. Okay, well there you can see that round area better. So I don't really know what purpose this serves, but that's just a reference point with this.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Since we've got multiple things pulled up here, I'm just gonna do that for chat so you guys can see everything we've got here. I don't know why Discord is up there randomly. Okay, so that way they can see when I'm like pointing to this as well. So that is this circular part right here. So what Casey was saying, we go to the stage here and we go to the right, there's this room that he is in,
I see.
and that could be what this area is.
That makes sense to me.
So that's where he is and where like the fly system is. So this area over here could be what's up here. So that can make sense. And then the lift is right here. I'm trying to get where, yeah, there it is. So that wooden rectangle, I'm thinking that that's what this is showing right there. There's the rectangle.
Okay.
Now, what's slightly unclear is just how much of the floor area is part of the...
Is this a seam?
There's multiple... So, yeah, so I don't know what to make of that. So there's... Right here, there's an area that's a rectangle just like this is, but it's just grass like the rest of the ground is. And there's another area just like it right there.
Yeah, very interesting.
So, and I would assume that that could just be because they were, like those are interchangeable plates or something for decorative purposes. Like that they could put like flowers,
right,
like a flowery patch or something. Ma'am, can you climb up there or just get down? Suki's being a menace. Shocker. So here's the thing, Casey. The lift is in the middle of the stage. And so if we go below, now we're in the middle of this set. So see how it's like in the middle of things. So that's why I'm saying I feel like we should... What is she scooting around? Does she have a spork?
She does. She does, in fact,
Where
have a spork.
did Suki get a spork from?
I don't know. Maybe she's been to Taco Bell. They have sporks.
They have sporks at Taco Bell?
At least they used to, like 20 years ago. I clearly remember this. Poor memory.
I don't think we own a spork from Taco Bell from 20 years ago.
Well, maybe they still have sporks. And I think it would be reasonable for her to go to Taco Bell. If I were a cat, I'd go to Taco Bell. And they'd give me free food because I'm this cute.
Oh, dear heavens. She is purring so loud right now. Okay, so...
She does not wish to be on the mic.
Oh, of course she doesn't now. She always wants to be on the mic when I don't want her to be on the mic. So... Like, this is the pinkest lips pin on a stream. Well, the lighting is not ideal right now because of somebody, and my lights back there going out. But also, I just recently like washed my face, and so that makes my face really red. Sensitive skin, redhead problems. Um, just touching my face makes
Oh,
it.
Suki. Why have you done
Is
this?
she tooting on you?
Yes, she is.
Oh,
Oh
great.
my. I told you she'd been to Taco Bell. I got you.
Oh, dear heavens. So, anyway, I think we should ignore the location of this lift. For now, at least. Because I think it's supposed to be offset from the stage. But we have. Like, it had to be here because of the end game. Because the end game, you go up the lift and appear in the middle of the stage and stop the production, and it's a big dramatic thing. And if it dropped you off to the side, like over where Grigor is, it wouldn't be as dramatic. And so that's my assumption, is it got put there because of plot stuff. So, anyhow, because best I can tell, like these, like the guide rails for it, they go all the way up. So then, like we were talking about earlier, these would have to be connected, these two sets. And then that doesn't work because then you can't put this set up at the top.
Right.
Not sure how the tunnel to the museum connects to the judgment set. Oh, that's easy. I got that. Hold on. Let's take a little boat ride over to the judgment set. Oh, and here's the in-between area, so you can see that. So there's like the... See, now she wants to be on the mic. Ma'am! So there's like this initial room outside of the set, and then a catwalk, and then another little room. So I'm assuming that the catwalk, like somewhere in this part, or somewhere in between, is where it disconnects. Like maybe this wall disconnects. I don't know. Somewhere in this area it will disconnect on each one to lift it up. But anyway. So this is how the tunnel connects. I mean, so we're in the judgment set right now, so let me pop over there real quick on the blueprint. So we just went through the catwalk into this set. So the exterior wall, which is what it's not connected to, so the exterior wall would be open. I can turn around nicely. Okay, here we go. So, I know this isn't the biggest for everyone. Let me temporarily make this bigger for chat at least. So, you see how there's at the bottom this area that's lit up with the green?
Right.
So, that is like a trim, and there's rocks at the top of it and everything. So, this stone wall that we're looking at that has this exhaust fan and all this kind of stuff. So, this is not part of the set.
I see.
This wall is this wall that we're looking at that goes around the whole thing, the big loop wall.
Checks out.
And so when this set moves into place, it will be completely open facing because this is the outside view. Like if we were locked into place for the production, we would be looking out at the crowd right now.
Right.
So this wall is part of that loop. It's disconnected from the floor, exactly. And so this door with the workshop goes into there. Or like, disconnected from the set is this workshop. And it has the tunnel, which is what we see here going off to the museum. And this is why there's the whole thing about how the set has to be locked into place at a certain point in all of this, because this goes to the museum and they need to be able to get through here and go to a stationary set.
I see.
So if they don't have the sets locked into place that are like below the stage, this would be moving and you'd like open the door and there would be nothing there. So I'm gonna go pop it back to the view so you can see the blueprint. Okay. So that's that part. So we can see, and then you can kind of see it here too. Again, that's that curved outer rock wall.
Right.
And there's the trim at the bottom. Still going around. So then we go through this door. And again, there's that rock wall that's this outer edge. So now we're right here, going around the loop. And we're going to pop into this next section. And again, we have the same rock wall in front of us and a little trim at the bottom. Because this would be what's looking out at the stage.
Right.
Whereas behind us is like all this elaborate stuff because it's the back of the set. So this is all like part of the back of the thing, and that's why there's rigging up there and all of that. So that trim that goes around keeps all the floor stuff contained. So now going into the last section, I think. Oh, okay. So now I'm gonna skip forward to this save file so that we can get across and look at the rest of the loop here. So now we're in this final room. So again, there's the rock wall that's curved, and there's the trim that has these like spindles in this case. And then we have the pyrotechnics happening.
That's pretty impressive.
Seems questionable for a moving set piece, but you know what?
Maybe they
appreciate
just
the
look
commitment.
like fire. It's actually just, little strips of cloth that
No.
they're billowing in the breeze.
No, we're explicitly told the flames are real.
All right. Well, I've seen it before on sets. They're not fun. They're extremely hot, and nobody likes to work with them, including the front row of the audience. But and I'm sure
That's
Nancy.
why there's the giant circle
There you
section.
go.
That's the buffer zone to keep people away from.
Right. I'm sure Nancy's not going to have any fun crossing this thing. It reminds me of the gates of hell at the glass factory I worked for, where there was a giant glass furnace, and I needed to get from one side of the furnace to a connection to the control computer on the other. And you had to cross the gates of hell, and it was essentially like crossing this little bridge.
Given we're basically in hell right now.
Yeah.
That makes
it was exactly
that checks
like
out. We're
this.
in like the underworld. So
it was like there's a literal wall of fire in front of you. It's just hot air, but it feels like a brick wall that's hot. It was a ton of fun. Yeah, tons of fun.
yeah, so again, you can see like how there's the curved barrier here, and we have the same rock wall. That's the thing that goes around everything. But then we go over here to the edge of the set, not that. And so now there's like this catwalk that goes out of the set to this area. So here we can see what would be behind things here. And we can see the road. So we can see that there's a road that goes around the track here. And there's some way to get into it because they brought a truck in.
Right.
Suki, why are you crying?
I've had the other cat all day, so she
Is she the jealousy cat
I
then?
think she's the jealousy cat now.
She's probably very confused why we're over here. What baffles me is that these pyrotechnics are constant. I feel like generally they're timed to the show, but there's literally a sea of roaring flames constantly.
Propane, baby. I don't know.
So where are they? That's
Poorly
the fair
burning
point. Like,
propane.
where are they storing the power source for that?
All right. Yeah,
Or how
that's
are they powering any of this?
it's
That's
got to
my
be some
question.
sort of flammable gas, but propane would glow blue unless it's an incomplete burn, and then you've just got propane filling the stage and smelling like propane. So,
Oh no. I'm sorry, Maggie.
uh-oh. What has happened?
She got timed out because
Oh no.
she said
Foul
no.
language. I'm sorry, these are the gates to heck.
Oh my gosh. Um, didn't notice the curved wall being in every set and that direction being downstage. That seems a bit more believable to me now, comparatively at least. Yeah. Language, Maggie. We use Hades in this household.
Gehenna is also
Not maybe they're
acceptable.
burning carbon monoxide. Not the carbon monoxide.
Well, they're certainly producing it. Almost certainly producing it. So.
Well, that's another question: is the ventilation on all these sets?
That's what the fans are for.
Yeah, exactly. For the HE double hockey stick set. Which reminds me of the great moment that I got a screenshot of it, where you can talk to Frank and Joe about um, Thanos and basically saying how the reason, like, because you can ask Thanos about the situation with him unaliving those two people, and he's basically just like, yeah, I was just doing my job, and conveniently all the paperwork's burned up, like there's no receipts for anything, but I was just doing my job and it's fine. And so Nancy can tell the Hardy Boys about this, and Joe's like, well, maybe like he really thought he was doing his job, and like he's not a bad guy, and this is fine, and it's like eating him up inside. And Frank is just like, or maybe he's down in hell where he belongs, and I'm just like, oh my heavens to Betsy. So, oh, anyway. Oh, okay, this is a relevant part. This is relevant.
Intermission is over.
So,
Please return to your seat.
So this is in the end game that I loaded into. So after Nancy escapes the culprit stuff at the end of the game, before like confronting and going up on stage and stopping everything, she hears the announcer say, "Intermission is over. Please return to your seats." And so that means that. So here's what I was thinking earlier. That has to be the case. Because that's all I can think of that would be how things happen. So Nancy goes and she tries to she opens up the box in the judgment set and yada yada. She's gonna do stuff. She's like closing in on the culprits. There's still like a couple hours or something until showtime. And Nancy gets knocked unconscious. And then next thing we know, we wake up on the fire set.
How'd she get knocked unconscious?
Oh, she gets whacked in the head
I
by
need
the
to catch them before the
Nancy.
show
Are we sure
ends.
it's not the carbon
I
monoxide?
better hurry.
So Nancy, the wrong set. I'm in the wrong set. So Nancy is right here, and she gets whacked by like a giant axe thingy by one of these dudes or whatever. So, ma'am. So she gets knocked unconscious and then wakes up. Can I please go faster? And she wakes up here, chained to this chair, and culprit walks off, leaves Nancy here. Nancy gets free, and then you're supposed to go investigate all this stuff, but you don't have to. But you get free and open up this bridge so you can escape, and open this thing up so you can escape and go in here. And then you get to this point, and it says intermission's over. Everyone back to your seats and all that. So, the question being, how did we go from it being before the show was starting then Nancy getting free, and it's intermission finishing. But also remember the sets move, but they're in the same place and they're in the final place that they're supposed to be. So it's like, first of all, I think Nancy had to have been like given something to keep her unconscious
The
because
carbon monoxide. Here we go.
it's all coming full circle.
Yep, there we go. Little 1K.
But like, there has to be something because Nancy didn't wake up until that final thing where she gets free from the culprit. And no, but that's what I'm saying is the Hades room would have been above the stage for the show. So they wouldn't have put Nancy in there when it's going to be on stage. So I think they were keeping Nancy unconscious like in the workshop or something until like locked up, like chained up in there or whatever, until it hit intermission, and then things got locked into this position where she would be trapped down here and no one's gonna see her, and then they stick her over there and they go and just leave her, and then they're gonna like come back after the show's over and take her out.
You would have thought they would have killed her by now.
What are the orders of the sets in the script? Like, we need the script. Okay, so let's see. So we have some of this on here. Was that too Narcissus? Well, hold on. Let's load into a different save so we have the script. Because I'm trying to think, does the script have everything, or does it just have one act? It just has act 1. Oh, this is making me want to make little models of all the sets. Do it. That sounds awesome. Oh. Okay. Okay, so there's a transit. Okay, let's go back to begin. Let's go back to begin. So, current production must take advantage of the theater's recent remodel. So this is the other thing. So there's this company called Pennies, however you pronounce it. Just forgive the fact I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Pennies Design is this company that has this new like experimental technology, and that's what the stage lifts are. And so they have a contract that they signed. Let me see, there's paperwork about it in here. Stage update. Okay. So as you know, I've been in contact with Pennies group about a possible update to our stage area. They approached me earlier in the year, hoping to use our stage as a demonstration site for their newest venture. Pennies' mission is to modernize our historical stages with state-of-the-art technology. Resistance to the idea elsewhere in the country is working in our favor. We've been cleared to improve the stage area, and will be able to make use of the company's services. Now, the good news, Pennies will provide their services free of charge. Wild. Payment deferred via charitable gift, to be exact. In exchange, we will allow the company to host demonstrations no more than once a month, and also allow the company to feature our location in their literature and advertising. Given the difficulty we have drawing a crowd, this is too good a deal to pass on. Propose a meeting, finalize the deal, work out profit-sharing agreements, yada yada, and then they talk about doing the stage renovation. Scheduled for completion in advance of next year's spring exhibit, yada yada. So, you think other acts are found elsewhere? Question. Do you think Pennies were in on the heist plan? No, I think they were not in on the heist plan because they Okay, let me see. Oh, we're gonna have to load another save again. Okay. I'm just really testing my memory right about now for remembering when information is accessible. So it's here somewhere. Again, this is a reminder that there's going to be spoilers potentially involved. So, I'm trying to find. Okay, people at the Stagecraft Company keep demanding time to come film the new stage setup. I'm pushing that to the second show, but they keep trying to push it back. I need to make it very clear to everyone that they will not show up with cameras. Regardless of their funding and efforts to make the stage a reality, it's ours when we're using it. We need opening night to run smoothly. There's no room for any outside interruption. Xenia's on the same page as me. Thanos might need to take point on this. So, it's very clear that they do not want Panaki's group to come investigate and like be lurking about below the stage on opening night. And then there's something in Messenger. So again, Panaki's reps getting angry calls from them that we're not giving enough access. They may be coming in to inspect the stage. I'll keep you updated. Yeah, see, here's the thing. It says the flames you see are very real. And that the water has submerged electrical equipment. Do not touch the river water. And see, my brain was thinking that there was a second chance where you could touch the river water, and then I was testing it and I couldn't make it happen. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So, but there's that information with the Panaki's group. So it seems very clear to me that the stage company has no idea. More just that their technology got utilized and got taken advantage of, but that they weren't involved in the crime taking place. So, what was the point of bringing up all that? Yeah, so it's experimental technology, and it's a whole big thing because the museum is the only. This is the only place that has let them set it up as like a proof of concept, and so that's why like this is such a big deal. So it is even within like the game universe. It's supposed to be like the super big deal, innovative technology. I guess that detail is added so you can't just waltz across the river Styx when you weren't supposed to. Yeah, I was thinking there was a second chance with it, but I guess there's not because I haven't been able to figure out how to trigger it. So here's another thing. So underneath here, this is below that first set of what is locked in place. So we can see things underneath. So there's these things that look like giant gears on these columns. Oh, that didn't help.
Yeah, it looks to me like a hydraulic lift, so it would lift something up that way.
Yeah, and then there's this column in the middle that I'm less certain on.
Yeah, that one.
So that would be farther back. These gear ones would be on like the sides. So I'm gonna go over here. Oh, not that. So we have this sequence with Grigor where we see between it's the same view here, but well, so that's part of the question is does it spin or does it not spin? Um,
The assumption would be that it doesn't spin.
yeah, what I'm thinking is that it may go down into the side. So, what I started thinking, um, so I realized because we were talking about there not being enough space for like movement above ground. There's this whole section over here that is hidden that we don't get to see.
Hmm.
So I wondered, is it possible that basically this stage like drops down slightly and shifts over to the side to let the new one up, and it can like drop down, and basically like it can go like down and over while this one goes up, and then this one goes down and like swaps out with it basically,
Right.
or something like that.
It seems plausible if we have any other evidence for what's in that area. The only thing that I'm
We
seeing
don't have any
is
evidence of what's over there.
this seems very short, this building. I don't know if there's enough room, unless it's going at an angle. So it's going down like this as opposed to just straight over.
Mm, yeah, I don't know. And we've got some other views we'll look at too. But so I was gonna show this. So I'm going through this here so we can see a closer up view of the big gear thing.
Who's that? Hermes?
Yes. He's not the point here. So as you go up, you can like see into this column thing that the gear things are on. So I was thinking that that might be like hydraulics or something that we can see inside of it. Or it's somehow like what's powering this. I can make it bigger too. Like you see over here, there's stuff.
Right.
Sorry, I know the flashing isn't good. Ignore the flashing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? We're gonna do some of that. The other issue I noticed with this, I'm so sorry to everyone. Look away. Look away for a moment. Oh, come on. There we go. So they changed the direction of the the Hermes splash pad, almost hitting his head. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up, and then I'm gonna pull up the at the beginning here. So this is such like a little detail, but because I was looking at things like the orientation of stuff, I figured this out. So Grigor right here, he's facing like he's facing that way, like off towards this side. But here, it's very hard to see. But his legs are here and here, so he's facing this way.
Interesting.
Because the issue, and I have no idea why they messed this up. But here they have um so so this room, which is where we're in right now. So this big column is towards the back of the stage. Like it would be behind where the lift is.
Right.
So when you're on the lift, you're looking towards this. Because you stand looking towards the back of the stage, so you stand looking towards this. So that means that Hermes, Grigor here, because as we can see in these pictures, he is looking... Wait, hold on a second. Or is he looking towards... It's wrong either way. Hold on. Let's take the lift and double check things here. Oh, no. So he's looking towards the side. He's looking towards the side because he's got the... Can't look towards the side. So see, like, there's a solid bar in front of him. And we can't see the box, the control panel. So that means he's looking towards this side. Which would be right in this picture. But on this one, he's clearly turned the other direction. Oh, I guess he could spin around. So never mind. It's not as bad as I thought it was. I was thinking that he completely turned around and they like reoriented things. They didn't. So never mind. It's not as bad as I thought it was. But so that is what the view looks like from underneath the stage. When we go over here to look under there. So that's that view. Now, here's where things get a little bit wacky. So when you go to this cutscene that lets you see between the floors, so it's like the first time that you use the lift, and then another time too, it shows it. It shows you this view between the floors, which is very similar but also different. So it seems like potentially this column here is supposed to be this one, but they obviously look different.
Right.
But then there's very interestingly these giant things in the middle. So that's why I was wondering about it like sliding down, because that's absolutely what those look like to me. Like they would like depress.
Yeah.
So then the question would be, what direction does it move after that? But it definitely seems like that would depress down.
Right.
Yeah, they're like giant pistons.
Right.
But then I don't know what these do unless they're just like load bearing and they're adjustable height, but they're like hydraulics holding the weight.
Yeah, those look like the big hydraulic pistons that I've seen at work. And I don't know how much this thing weighs, but we have pistons of actually smaller than that, and they support, there's 4 of them, and they together support about 120 tons. And I honestly can't imagine this whole stage being a whole lot more than that. So I would say those big boy pistons are definitely used to raise and lower. Now, I know you mentioned before there's a whole issue of the pistons overheating and that being a problem.
Yeah, there's something, I've tried to go back and find it, but there was a note somewhere where it talks about being worried about the hydraulics overheating.
Right. So the pistons at work move about a foot every 10 minutes. So I could see heat being a problem, stability being a big problem, which would explain why they're so much larger, both for thermal reasons, because you got a bigger mass, so it's going to be able to soak up more heat before things get problematic, and also for stability.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I thought that Gregor was the one that mentioned it in something he wrote. But well, here's the thing that talks about crowd flow and locking things into place and yada yada. There's also something with. Yes, Thanos says something about the hydraulics shaking and everything because they're like warming up for the show. Like basically that all the stuff is getting ready for movement as
Yeah.
the things are like there's slight movements and shakes to the floors as they're getting ready.
I can see that.
There was also an issue with there was a software update for
It wasn't my fault.
oh gosh, this is not what I wanted. Um, yeah, here it is. The lift software has been updated due to safety concerns, so that it will only activate when there's a person's like full weight on it to avoid accidental lift drops. So that was amusing. But trying to see. Here they were complaining about the fact that the sets have so many things to interact with. Be able to look into the breaker box, and if so, are there any labels? We can look in there. I think it's just on off, but we can look in there.
That's pretty realistic. I don't think I've ever seen an electrical panel that's actually labeled. There'll be a sheet in there that tells you what each breaker is, but it'll be about 3 years old and half of them will have changed. Pretty standard. True
Here
to
they talk
life.
about lift cues. So here is where she says keep Underworld set locked under the stage following the 30-minute mark. Will end the production on the field set dressed for night. Man. That's not what I meant to do. Okay.
Goodbye, Casey.
So let's go to that breaker box. So this is the breaker box. It says stage lights breakers, and it's on or off. And then there's all these other panels, and we can't access them. That's all we got. Very exciting.
Wonderful.
Uh-huh. Let's see if there's anything else interesting there. Clear path from museum to loading bay. So this is part of why well, and what's very confusing is that I don't know when, because it seemed like at the end of the show they hadn't loaded everything in the vehicles yet because like we're able to stop them pretty easily. Like all the stuff was still hadn't been taken from the museum yet, and so implies they hadn't loaded the thing yet. But part of the whole reason why they wanted everything locked into place was so that they could take things from the museum from all of this out to here. So well, okay, I guess they could have that could be it. That could be it. So maybe they took everything and put it in the workshop, which we can't access in the end game, so we don't know what's in there. So they could have taken all the stuff they're stealing and put it in the workshop, and then had planned that after the show, then they could take it from the workshop to in there, or that they could have already started taking stuff during the end of the show. But I guess that at the end, yeah. I mean, I guess because they would want the things to be locked into place because people would ask questions about why the stages are moving around after the show is over.
Right.
And so they wanted things locked into place to where there's easy access. Well, I didn't think about that. So, okay, let's go look at the sets down here again. And we'll probably wrap up our final thoughts here soon. So you wouldn't want to have this set be up against the museum thing because you've got the water that's
Right.
dangerous to be in going up to that. So like you're gonna put stuff in the boat to take it across. So you wouldn't want that. And then this one, like it's this nice safe little pathway. I mean, you have to go up the steps and down, but it's pretty straightforward. But then on this set, like the museum pathway door would be over here. So then you'd have to walk out here, which I guess you could do. But like maybe things just wouldn't line up as well, and there is some of the like fire kind of stuff. I don't know. So I wonder if it would line up badly on this set, so it would be hard to access the door. And then obviously this set, you're not gonna line this up to the museum because like you couldn't do it. So I guess that the reason why they wanted everything locked in place the way they did was just because that was the easiest set to access those doors into the workshop.
And is it possible that the sets don't actually swap as quickly as we think they do? So
Oh, I was looking at the script. That's what we were doing before. Hold on. Okay. So that's where we got distracted. Okay. Panake's design and contracted to construct each set well in advance of production. Performers will receive safety briefings by Panake's staff. Dangers presented by elaborate set must be evaluated with every blocking and cue change. Each set will represent a different stage of her journey. Okay. Oh, here we go. Current production must take advantage of the theater's recent remodel, state-of-the-art Revolve stage. Okay, there's a name for it. Fancy. I didn't remember there was a name for it. The Revolve stage allows entire sets to fly up, replacing the central stage edifice via hydraulic lifts. Well, that's the one-sentence explanation for you.
okay.
So confirmation that we're taking the entire set and it is supposed to fly up and
Right.
replace the central stage. Okay.
And replace. Now that language does imply that we're swapping them.
Yeah.
We're not just... Yeah.
Also, I'm assuming it's... I don't know why the language of fly. I mean, there's the fly system, but that's related to other stuff.
Well, the fly system is just theater term for moving stuff up and down. So...
Yeah, I guess that's why they use that language,
Yeah.
but... It's interesting because they say via hydraulic lifts and then connect over to that. The lift that we stand on is just the little one. So I don't know what. I'm going to ignore that. Okay, primary stage will serve as Olympus as well as the Narcissus flower meadow of her capture. Okay, so that would be... So that's this. Okay. So Hades is just waiting down in the underworld, I guess. Okay, and so then they use it during the thing. So there's a scene with Hades. and he goes down the lift. Okay. Trying to see. So this is just Hermes talking. Yada yada. Oh, so now Hades comes back up on the lift. Hades now fully extended on the lift. And so Hades snatches Persephone, and then they both go down on the lift. And Hermes is left alone. Cue snow. Okay. Music stopping and starting is stressing me out. Oops. Okay. That's just stuff going to happen on the primary set. Okay, so now transition to Styx stage. Oh! Okay. How have I never read this? Transition to Styx stage. Demeter remains standing on lift as Demeter's field stage drops, and Styx stage flies from below. Safety harness, all hands check required. Betty check fails, call for standard, scrim transition, drop curtain. What? Wait. You mean to tell me... Hold on, we gotta go back to this darn thing. So you mean to tell me that... Where's this remote? That during... Just partway through this, Demeter is supposed to stand right here, and all of this drops down, and then the Styx stage comes up. This is the most confusing part so far. How? How?
Unless, are we...
Demeter's field stage drops. Styx stage flies from below.
We need to build a model of this.
We're gonna have to make this in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Well, it says she stays on the lift, but it doesn't necessarily state that she remains at stage level. It's kind of implied, but...
So the lift stays stationary, the whole stage drops out, and then can the cyclorama here switch around to pull in the new stage? Or is it implied that this takes place too quickly for that? And so when it drops, it has to drop at an angle. But I don't see how it could drop at an angle because you've got the lift in the way.
Yeah.
So I think it's just implied that these things drop out quickly and are replaced by... Make more sense if the garden rose as Liv moved down.
I mean, just rearranging it in general, like, especially if we have the stationary part, is confusing. Ooh. So,
Drop. I mean, unless it folds down. Drops out like
we
that.
don't have any. There's no seams. There's no evidence of that.
Right.
Plus, there's these tall parts that would stay on it.
No. Yeah.
That's the thing that's confusing about all this is we're not talking about platforms. We're talking about rooms that have height to them.
Right.
So maybe this. Well, again, we have the. Not that. We had this, so the evidence of it going back.
Does it slide backward into this central ring and then get loaded onto a new platform? Is that the whole magic? Does it drop into the middle? There's enough room for it to drop in the middle, it looks like, based upon our schematic.
Does it go back into the central ring and what?
Right. Does it slide backward onto that part, and then the new one lifts up, and then it gets reloaded back below?
Maybe. I mean, we don't necessarily. One of those things that I don't know that we have evidence of that, but we also don't necessarily have evidence conflicting with that. The way the catwalks work support that theory. So, well, what I'm wondering here. Oh, hold on. I might have just. Hold on. I got an idea here. So, this might take some stretching or whatever here. But, you know, that's just the game we're playing. So. So we don't necessarily have any evidence of there being a hole through this part.
Right. I think
But what if there is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't see it, but I think there has to be a hole through this. Because what I'm thinking is... Well, but it doesn't work for the other ones. Because then all the sets would have to have a hole right there. Which they don't have.
Do they not? They have like a water feature or some fire or something there.
Well, this one has a rock.
No.
Well, or they could... I mean, there could be an open space and we're just not seeing it because it's like hidden behind there. So I was wondering if basically, like... how it could work. So if... So Demeter is standing here. And then this drops down partially. Like drops down so she's basically in between the floors.
Right.
And then the top part slides back. And then the bottom, the sticks lift straight up.
Right.
And she goes with it until she hits into place and it's in place with her. And then the one that's dropped back, the Demeter field, goes down and locks into place. And so you could say that with arguably with all of them, that then they would all have some opening so that they come over and they go up that like that. But it's hard because, like, I don't know that there's necessarily an indication that they would all have that area.
Yeah, the lift pool.
So see, again, this one's got, like, there's stuff over there.
Right. Unless the lift is removable somehow. I don't see how that could happen. It's pretty static looking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we could explain how... I think we could explain how that happens. The question is just how does that factor into how the other ones
Right.
move?
The lift is the thing that kind of breaks all of this. I know, this is a video game, it just clips through.
So... Well, so again, we have Demeter going down the lift. So there's the scene that sticks, and Demeter goes down the lift, and Persephone and Hades are left there on the Styx stage or set. And then...
Okay, so we've got people on the sets as they move.
We've got people on the... No, we've got people on the sets and people on the lifts to drop. People are dropping down the lift. The people aren't on the stage while it's moving. People are on the lift while it moves. Anybody want to recreate this with AutoCAD Fusion 360? We might need something advanced here, like a whole schematic system. So, but here's another one. So, it says, so scene 4, Mount Olympus, which is Demeter's field again, right? Isn't that what it said earlier? Primary stage will serve as Olympus as well as Narcissus Flower Meadow for capture. So, we've swapped stages again. You wait! You're... Oh, dear heaven.
She saw Suki and had a mild panic attack.
Oh, oh. Suki's up there. It was gonna be like a Lion King moment. Okay, so... Okay. So it doesn't say anything about the stage transition, but we've gone back to the primary stage now. Because it says Mount Olympus, which is what that stage is. So we've transitioned back again. And now Hades is coming up the lift. And they're all talking. Hades goes down the lift. Meter's field, project green field. Yada. Heals by Narcissus flowers. So I assume that's why there's those sections that have those borders that we were looking at.
Right.
Because they'll swap it out with like flowers and stuff like that for the different scenes. Since they're using that one set for multiple sets. Which is hilarious that the most simple set is being reutilized for multiple different things, but then they've got ones with literal fire everywhere, and it's like, we'll maybe use that later. So... Okay, so... They're all talking, they're still up in that field, there's the chorus thing, that's weird. Chorus index has found 2.6 Beths currently living near your location. Wait, I forgot that's actually in the script. Dear heavens. Demeter continues. Okay, lift, raise Hades and Persephone. Hades on throne set. Persephone in her queen costume. Her hands are folded in her lap. Oh, it revealed she's chained to the throne. Oh, yeah. Okay, so things have to be able to, like, really move around, because we went straight from the field set, like the primary one, to this last one, which means that this whole thing would have had to rotate around and lift that one up in its place. So it swapped with the throne set instead of the sticks set. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So they don't necessarily go in order.
You can choose any set.
You can
and
choose
just...
whichever one to swap. So this whole thing has to be able to... This whole thing has to be able to rotate around.
Right. Well, that was my
Or,
assumption.
like, it spins somehow. Not this.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
That was a perfect redemption,
that
though.
was.
Okay, so now we have the throne set up there. So she's weeping. Hermes sneaks in, goes to the stairs, and yada yada. Hermes hands her the pomegranate, whispers in her ear, projector bridge, montage ending on Olympus, drop. Okay. Hold on. Projector bridge, montage ending on Olympus, drop underworld stages. Okay, so we're swapping back to the field set, but projector bridge, that's talking about the one that goes across the fire.
Right.
But montage ending on Olympus. And I guess that's just saying we're transitioning to the Olympus set again?
Recycling through all the sets?
No, we haven't done the Judgment set yet. So we've done all of them but that one.
So my question is...
No, we haven't. We haven't done Tartarus either.
What is
Which
it
I've
that
worked on.
necessitates there always being a set deployed? How do we know that that's a rule for how all of this works?
What do you mean by set
So-
deployed? I mean, they have to have a set that they're doing things on at all times.
Or do they? Is that why they have the lift? So you keep the actors on the lift, you drop the set out, you cycle it around, and you put the new set up, and they're on the lift the whole time while we're changing sets. So there is a time where they're just free floating above the void, if you see what I'm saying.
I don't think they're ever above, but you gave me an idea. What if it's not necessarily flying straight up? Well, but still there's the question of how, if they don't have holes, how does this work? They still have to be able to get through the stage. So we can make the argument that of it working with just like that there would have to be a hole. And we
Yeah.
just assume there's a hole we can't see. Not teleportation. not this.
I'm telling you, they just clip through each other.
How is it that this got more complicated than I thought?
The lift complicates things.
The lift makes everything so challenging.
Unless the lifts are built into the stage, but the lift has to be a singular thing because it exists during transitions with people on it.
Yeah, so like that's what I was thinking was if the set came backwards and then up,
Right.
because then it doesn't have to go like through the lift, but it would still have to have a hole for the lift if they're standing on the lift when it comes into place.
Right. There needs to be space for that somehow.
Well, I guess there wouldn't have to be. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can. Here we go again.
Well, there's no
The
guarantee that
Chris definitely drops through the lift and exits.
not every stage has to be compatible with the lift. Multiple of them do.
No, I'm saying they basically all have to, because there's like, it seems like the lift is where they go when they're not. Oh, I'm just gonna go back to this with the whole. You know, it allows entire sets to fly up, replacing central stage edifice via hydraulic lifts. Well, and where would the hole be on the stinking fire stage? Like, it would be over here somewhere, in the flames. How are you gonna do that one? Like, even if we say there's an opening and you can't see it or whatever, like, where would it even go?
Right there in the middle.
No.
Where all those orange flames
No.
are.
Because that's where the bridge is.
You know, the bridge is retractable, right?
Yeah, but still.
Maybe the bridge is part of the lift.
No. I'm going here again. See the other angle here. Yeah, because it would be like right over here. I mean, I feel like we're gonna have to come to some conclusion that they forgot to incorporate
Yeah.
a piece into things.
There's got to be something missing from the game that would allow this to actually work. And so the next question is, how could we, if we were going to remaster this game, what would we include to make the stage actually work?
Well, it's missing the explanation for how the lift situation works. I think the lift is the biggest question. Like, not how do these stages pick up and move, because ironically that was the easy part for us. Moving these stages, for the most part. But the question is, how do we deal with that lift? Imagine if we interviewed the 3D modeling artists and asked their thought processes. Probably won't result in much, but who knows? That would be interesting. Might have to do some research on that. Maybe I can ask Helena and see what we can make happen. Yeah, I think the lift is the biggest question. But honestly too, like, so that stone wall is obviously the outside of this ring, and so that's obviously what that is. But when we come out here, that's not what this looks like.
Right.
This suddenly looks different. Which maybe this section looks different, and that's, you know, that's fine. But it's interesting that this section of wall is different suddenly. Also not as tall? Well, hold on. Well, now we go upstairs. Yeah, all I can figure is that this section just looks different. Because it goes off to the road. Well, but then, like, does all of this part move on the rotation then too?
I think it would need to.
I think so too.
So let's come to a conclusion.
That's the other thing though. When all of this moves around so that this set could come up to here, what happened to this truck?
I assume it's far enough below that it shouldn't affect the truck.
Well, no, because there's like lift mechanisms and different things beneath the sets.
Yeah.
So they would push the truck. I guess the truck, because we're after intermission right now. And we don't get to see what's over here until during/after the intermission. So we could make the assumption that this truck didn't come in until after.
Right.
Yeah, well, and that would explain everything. So I was saying the whole thing about the truck being loaded and all that kind of stuff when they were doing that. They're planning to do that now and /after the thing, and that's the whole point, is they were just able to get the trucks in there
Right.
once the set's locked into place and weren't going to move again, because if they moved it would interfere with the truck, because this whole thing has to be able to spin. So that makes more sense now. That does make sense. So that would be why they needed this to lock into place like this. And also they say that they needed to channel traffic into the museum afterwards, after the performance, as opposed to the parking lot. And I'm assuming it's because they're buying time to get the truck out once it's loaded, because they have to finish loading everything in the truck and then get it out of the parking lot before it's spotted, I guess. So final thoughts, I guess that's what we're about to get onto.
The lift is what complicates the whole situation. If there's no space to make the lift happen logically, then that has to be an error. But moving the stages, do we think that they are simply replaced? You slide one down, you rotate the platform, you slide the next one up? Or do you think there's something more clever where you slide one down and back and immediately replace it with one from below, and then take the one that you've slid down and back into the middle and put it in a new slot on the carousel?
I got a little bit lost in that, but I mean, because of this, like, I feel like there has to be some sort of sliding motion.
Right. So we think that they slide back into the middle, and then the one below pops up, and then you slide the one that you've put in the middle back onto a spot on the carousel below.
Well, here's the other question is, so you have this, and then below this is the other set. So it's like, how does this whole section move? Oh gosh, now I'm making my brain hurt worse. So we can see, like, between the floors here that we were dropping through. So see, so all of that is there. And then right below this area is the other set. So this is the complicating factor, is how would it come up? Because it can't go through all of this. So, like, all of this would have to be moved out of the way, or the whole bottom thing would have to be moved out of the way.
Right. Huh.
So, like, all of this has to move.
Are we concluding that these sets really are just magic? There really is no...
Well, okay, this is why I'm thinking Next time on, is it physically possible with the secret slide in Blackmore? The secret slide is nothing. The moving rooms, on the other hand, those are a legitimate question because they were built in like the 1400s or something, somehow. But so this is why I'm thinking the most reasonable idea has to be that this top part also, like, this is really thick. Like, you notice how thick the bottom
Yeah,
floor
that's
is?
extremely thick.
So what I'm wondering is
What?
if this like platform of the floor, if it gets scooted back, leaving the hydraulics. Trying to think.
Are we changing less of the stage than we think we're changing?
Well, no, because like the entire set below us, it's like the stick
Right.
set. What would you subtract from this?
Right.
Like, this clearly all has to come up. Like, the background comes up. Like, this whole thing goes up.
The view on the right here almost implies to me that only that little square in front of us is what's getting swapped out.
This.
Right.
No, that's the thing that gets swapped out with flowers and all that. That's just a decorative plate.
Okay.
I have another idea, though, that I'm questioning. I don't know how it would play in with how much stuff there is on top of this set. But what if basically this set, since it's like the main one, if this one is always just depressing, and then these slide out and over. Like, okay. I need like little pieces to move or something. Okay, so let me try to. So this is the. Okay. That, and then like. Maybe this box here, because it has a hole in it. Okay, so this is the top floor. This is the field set because it's got the hole through it. So that's the lift. And then, what's gonna be the... We'll just say the sweetest books business card is the lift. It doesn't really fit through, so... Oh, that's too big. Can I have something smaller, please? No, that doesn't fit. The eye drops. Here, perfect. So it, because the lift is on a column anyway. So perfect. I got this. Okay. So currently things are like this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is at the bottom. This notebook. Let's see if it's on camera even. I should swap to make it bigger so it's easier to see what I'm doing. So I'm suggesting, here, can you hold this in place for me right now? So this is the stick set. And then we have this column, which is the lift. And then we have the field set up here. So what if when the scenes change, we have the lift drops down slightly along with the set. These have dropped down a bit. Make it shorter.
The audience is
This-
just experiencing maximum crinkling right now.
Sorry. I'll stop crinkling. So this slides back
Uh-huh.
and comes up and is superimposed over the top of it.
Okay.
Now the question is with the tall things on that set, what would happen with all those things? But you do that, and then you slide it back and down, and then it could like rotate somehow. So like the bottom sets are always rotating around, but the field set is always
Always up there.
it's always up there. It's just a matter of whether it is dropped down into that lower position. Ooh. Like if it's dropped down onto this, so it's like brought down flat.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then this set would slide backwards into this inner ring and then come up like the middle column and come forward and be imposed on this. You see what I'm saying?
I think I see what you're saying. I also think we need to build this in Minecraft. That's the only way. That's the only way to be sure.
We've got to build it in something.
Yeah. And I vote Minecraft because I'm terrible
So
at
I
CAD.
think
Not that kind of engineer.
Okay, so back to this. Transition to stick stage. Demeter remains standing on lift as Demeter's field stage drops, and stick stage flies from below. That's how it could work. That's exactly what I just described. The stage drops, it locks down into the depressed position,
Uh-huh.
and she would be on the lift, which would have to drop somewhat.
Right?
And
Stick
the
stage.
stick stage comes up and it slides back, goes up that center column, and comes forward.
Right. Need to build it. That's the only way.
Of course, the question we still have is if I'm standing right here, well, okay, so it mentioned a safety harness. It says safety harness, all hands check required. What if she gets lifted? That's something we haven't considered before now.
So the lift is dropping out too. She's getting...
So she stands on the lift, and as the new... Go back higher. And as the new stage comes into place, she gets lifted up
Right.
high enough that she can then be set down on the new stage.
That would make sense. And would eliminate our issues with the lift being all wonky.
It having an opening. Now, the one problem with that is that I think we do have people go down the lift from the other stages that don't have thing. Hold on, checking really quick. And then we'll need to wrap up because our brains are oozing. And I've kept you longer than I said I would. Okay, so this is going up the lift, but again, it's with the field stage. Okay. So we're on the field stage right now. Lift. That's all fine. Okay, so now we're on the stick stage. Drop lift with Demeter. So we're on the stick stage, and It's supposed to drop lift with Demeter. Honey,
Hmm?
stop it. So we do have someone dropping through the lift on one of the things that doesn't have a hole for the lift,
Okay, so we still have that problem.
potentially.
So, conclusion. We still have no idea how this works, or if it's even possible.
Now I feel like the meme from SpongeBob with the lid, but it's just the lift.
The lift.
The lift,
The
the
lift,
lift, the
the
lift. And my brain is oozing out of my head. We need dinner because we haven't eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh dear. I do think that the last thing I suggested is the most reasonable thing, though,
Right.
with this dropping down. Now, except the question is, where the heck does all this tall stuff go if it drops down?
I figure it stays put.
No, because if it stays put, then... Oh, wait. Hold on. Like, this tree is where this column is.
Or is it where the tree in front of the column is?
Smack you.
I'm being helpful.
Yeah, you're being very helpful. But, like, all of this stuff is way over this area. Like, over there. Like, it has to all get cleared. I mean, it'll get cleared if you bring this up on a hydraulic lift, I guess. But... oh, dear heavens.
Conclusion, we still don't know.
We're back to the lift being the whole problem.
Yep. But we had
The
fun
lift is the
talking
problem.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have to just assume that somehow the lift can go through
Right.
all of the floors, whether you can see it or not. And that the top one, because there's no explanation for what would happen to all this, I think it has to be that you slide down to the place between the floors whenever you stay on the lift as it changes. And because they would have to have a hole for the lift, then you just slide the active stage to the back, to the circle, and raise up the bottom one.
Right.
And then what's in the circle gets swapped and loaded onto that. And that this is just like pushing it off. Like this isn't necessarily connected to it, but it's pushing it.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the best conclusion. So anyway, my brain hurts now. I think we need to call it there. I was hoping we'd get through more than one thing, but apparently this took quite a lot of discussion and we still don't have a perfect answer. But I think we have to assume everything has a hole for the lift, because otherwise I don't see how it could work.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the only conclusion I can come to. I don't know if I'm helpful in any of those. But, I'm glad to be here.
Unless...
No.
No.
No. Nope.
I had brain hurts. That'll be a later thing. Later I will think of some more stuff and whatnot.
And then we're gonna
But-
build it in Minecraft once
Once
I
you
get
can-
my eyes back.
Yeah, once you're not blind.
Yeah.
So we'll have a part 2 once we can do some testing. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We need testing. We need our own proof of concept
Yes.
to see if we can make this work.
And thank you, little one cave.
Well, I'm gonna go eat and sleep because everything hurts.
Yep.
Oh dear. Oh, that's what I meant to go to. I have so many diagrams and things pulled up. This is ridiculous. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this chaos. I'm gonna close out of this. Bring that back. Um, this has been an exciting adventure. This is probably potentially the most complicated one of these to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't expect it to take that long though. But stay tuned for next time when we'll do some testing with this and try to figure it out. But also, we still have to talk about things like the moving rooms in Kerr, which
Right.
are in theory less complicated than this, but they're more complicated in the sense of what technology would have been available to actually make them happen. And the magic rock that there's no explanation for that functions like a mall directory board that updates though. There's the jetpack. There's the gopher vacuum. Oh yeah, that magnet. Well, which magnet thing? Are we talking about the magnet stuff with the gargoyles lighting the forge, or are we talking about the magnets with the box thing in Shadow Ranch? There's options here. We got a lot of things with magnets that are questionable. Or are you suggesting something works by magnets, like the Kerr rooms worked off magnets? I don't know. I don't know. Magnets for use in spinning rooms. I mean, I still don't know how that would work. Oh no, I can't start thinking about that now. My brain doesn't have the bandwidth for it. I feel like you're I feel like you're gonna just like lick my face like a dog. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm tired. We need to go. I don't. How do I turn this off? That's not what. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Would you stop? I feel like you're about to. No. Stop it. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you in the new year. Have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you guys in the next one.